sometimes I'll go to a club or a pool party and I'm hearing the same music, like top 40 radio, top 40 music, and the crowd's having a great time. But personally, like, I want to hear something different sometimes, and I get sick of playing or hearing the same music. What kind of music do you prefer to play?
If it was up to me, I love house music of all kinds. I mean, you know, it's really great to see recently that, you know, house music is really come back. Not that it really ever went away, but it's really come back.
Or more mainstream.
A little more mainstream and accepted by, you know, so when you go to the club, it's, you know, 50-50 now for the hip hop versus house music. Yeah, I mean, that's always a challenge for a DJ to on the one hand, you got to please the mass audience, but on the other hand, you want to make sure that you're pushing it too. Me personally, I mean, I'm not really trying to set trends at this point as a DJ. I'm trying to follow what's going on and be on top of everything that's going on. I'd like to play as much house music as possible, but there's some venues, I mean, last night at Pearl, I played mostly hip hop. It's just what the crowd there wanted, and yeah, you know, it's always a balance as a DJ. You know, you got to do what the club asks you to do and what the crowd asks you to do, and you have to make your money that way.
Okay, this is sort of a personal question, and you can answer it or not, depending on how you feel about it. How do you feel about when you're DJing and you have your set, you know, you've been practicing and you have in mind what you want to play, but then you have a lot of fans or a lot of, you know, people coming to request songs.
Right.
Like, everyone has a different opinion on that as a DJ.
As a DJ, I like to have people be able to come up and talk to me so I can get a sense of like where people's heads are at. Because sometimes people come up and you're thinking they're one place and they come up and they talk to you and you realize that they're in another place. And but at the same time, it can get really annoying because I'm not an iPod, and none of us wants to. You know, people come out, oh, could you play it next? Come on, can you play it for me? It's like, you know, sometimes I can get really rude to people when they do that. You're not an iPod. You're up there to read the crowd, but so it's a balance. You know, you want to be able to have a few people come up and talk to you and request things. And sometimes when people come up and request, they have $100 bills in their hand, and that always helps.
Right, tips. Tip the DJ.
Trust me, you know, $100 bill speaks. Mm-hmm. And you know, you have situations where you have, especially in Vegas, you know, you have tables of people that have spent a lot of money, and you want to make sure you take care of them too, because helping a club make money is really what your job is as a DJ.
Okay. Sweet. So as a DJ, have you noticed that you get a little more female or male attention?
Yeah, you do, and that's nice. I mean, but at the same time, you know, when you're up there DJing, you're not really part of the party. So there's been lots of times in my life when you're there and you might get a little attention, you get somebody looking at you, somebody comes and talks to you, and then you have to really focus on your job, because if you don't, you're going to get fired, and then you're not going to get that attention. So you're focused on your job, some girl comes up, talks to you, and then you look over a couple minutes later and she's gone, or some other guy's dancing with her because you're doing your job. And sometimes, you know, if that's what you're trying to do is hook up with somebody, then, you know, it can be actually like a negative thing, because you have to focus on your job. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get the attention. But you know, if you're a DJ and that's really all you're looking for out there, you're not going to be DJing for long, because you're not really going to be focused on what you have to do. But it's nice. I mean, I met you. That's how I met you. And now you're here sitting in a bed with me. So hey.
We met at a club.
At Row in San Francisco a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Ashton introduced us.
That's how I met you.
And then we became friends.
Yeah.
So it's a good interaction that you have with girls and at the club, because you want them to be happy, and
of course
they're coming. And
you know, a friend of mine gave me advice a long time ago. He said, when you're at the club, play for the girls. What you do, play for the girls, because guys will follow. You know, you play what the girls want to hear, and the guys will come to see them. So play for the girls.
Interesting.
That's the best piece of advice I ever got as a DJ. You start playing for the guys in the club, yeah, you're not gonna be DJing for long.
Mhm. Yeah. So when I'm at a club or at a pool party, it's true. I listen to the music and I'm listening to the lyrics, and if it's full of grotesque kind of like words and putting girls down.
Yeah, but you know what?
Kinda don't
Sometimes it was funny. Is
get
sometimes
into
you
it.
say that, but sometimes girls like that stuff. You'd be
Sometimes,
surprised.
yeah.
You're surprised. Sometimes girls they like that. It's a little like
Bad.
guilty pleasure for them. Like stuff. You ever see the Chris Rock routine where he talks about girls will dance to songs in the club? Like,
No, I didn't see it.
You gotta watch that Chris Rock. Because girls will dance in the club to songs that they would never listen to outside of the club.
Well, I'm guilty. I do to most of the songs, but sometimes I'll listen to some and just think like, wow, these lyrics are really horrible. But I like the beat, so I just go along with it anyway. Alright, so thank you very much, DJ
Thank you.
Hope, for giving us your time.
Thank you.
And we can reach you at
DJHopeOnline.com. It's got all my links to all my Facebook and Twitter and all that Foursquare and all that stuff. All those links are on there.
well, and if we want to come watch you, you're usually in Vegas.
Usually in Vegas, but traveling around. I'm going to schedule those on my website and on my Facebook.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Daniela Santana, and you can find the latest interviews at funteeny.me. That's FUNTEENY.